On Robin Hood Radio, we're welcoming him today, Chris May, and Chris is involved in an effort to bring a skate park to Wassaic, and it was presented in front of the Amenia Town Board. There's an article, if you go to tricornernews.com and go to the Millerton News, you'll find that article posted there on the skate park and Chris's involvement in it. Chris, first of all, thanks for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
So now a little bit of history about you for people that don't know the details of the story. First of all, how long have you lived in this area, and a little bit of background on you and skateboarding.
So I moved here in 2014. I was living in the city, and I had some mutual friends up in the area, and I came up here mainly to get away from the city, but I'm from Wyoming, and so I really, really like the open country more than the city. I started skateboarding in 1997 when I was 13. I had a tiny little pad of concrete behind my house because we lived out in the desert, and that's where I learned to skate, was on this tiny little pad of concrete. And a couple of my friends and I got together, and we decided to pool our ramps and our rails and little home DIY skateboard obstacles that we had made at our houses and compile them in one location at the city park. And we did this a number of times, and eventually the town decided to build a skate park for us. And unfortunately, I moved away before the park was finished, but I then moved to St. Louis, made a bunch of friends skateboarding there, and advocated for a couple parks in the city there. But now that I'm here, this is the first time I'm like spearheading the project as an adult, having skateboarded for, 25 years now. I know firsthand like the benefits of it, and not just for the skateboarder, but like for the community as a whole. It's a really remarkable sport or activity or art form or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I think when there's a lot of people out there who don't understand skateboarding. They might be scanning a TV and see some of these competitions on TV, and also I think they get a misguided look at that when you look at some of the skateboarding that you see on TV and with some of the really unbelievable skateboarders. It looks like it's wild, but people seem to forget. When I was a kid, I'm 68. Okay, all right. So I didn't skateboard, but we did roller skate, and roller skating is not exactly skateboarding, but we did roller skate, and skateboarding is just, as in life, one of the advancements to the things that came along that really improved the functionality of what you could do. You could do it outdoors a lot easier. Now there's blading. If you don't have to skateboard, you can blade. But skateboards really have come a long way, even since when you started. The difference between skateboarding now and skateboarding when you started is light years away.
It's incredible. I teach skateboarding here in the area now, and I have like the way these kids. It must be because like when you see it and you see it done, it seems more attainable. Whereas like when I started skateboarding, I just had pictures and magazines to go off of. Some of these kids improve so quickly, and just the level of skateboarding now is astounding. But yeah, I agree. I think like when you see skateboarding on TV, not only does it look out of this world, like some of the things these people do, like that's the absolute highest level of skateboarding. Like I know people who just want to skateboard. They just want to push around and just feel the wheels under their feet, and that's it. They're not trying to jump off skyscrapers or anything you see in like the Tony Hawk video games.
Well, I was going to say also that it would seem to me that the addition of a skateboard park would take any kid, or I'll even say an adult that wants to skateboard, will take them
Definitely.
off. It'll take them off sidewalks. It'll take them off streets, and it'll put them in an environment where they're socially mixing with other people as well.
Absolutely, and that's one of the biggest benefits of a skateboard park. There's not a lot of concrete in Wassaic to begin with, so there's not a lot of skateboarding. But there's a lot of boredom in the area. A lot of kids turn to video games and insular activities. And a gathering place like a skateboard park is really, really helpful, especially because skateboarding requires such intense focus, and the rate of success for landing a trick is pretty low. Like, you have to try and try and try, and you fall and you hurt yourself, and you try again until you get it. And so there's like, what I've experienced growing up skateboarding in the streets and at skate parks is that, like, you develop a mutual respect. You see someone trying something and failing, and you know exactly what that feels like. And there's like a life lesson there. There's camaraderie and compassion and empathy. It's built around that.
You know, I want to go back to the social aspect for a minute. For years ago, when I was a disc jockey in Kingston, New York, I became a disc jockey of late night sessions on Friday and Saturday nights for kids who were 16 and up, and up to about the age of 23, 24. And what I found was that I looked at roller skating as basically like somebody learning to skate on ice, except you were taking youth that didn't have anything to do, and you were giving them something to do. Eventually, we used to have 500 to 700 people on a Friday and Saturday night. And I look at skateboarding as an offshoot. People like to go skiing. People like to go, on the snowboards. And I just take a look at skateboarding. And you're absolutely right. It's a way where you can take young people who right now don't have a lot that's available to them, and you can offer them something that they can do, and I guess you can offer them something that can show them that the more they try, no matter how advanced they want to get or just not advanced at all, the more that they try, the better they get at something. That has to build up your self-confidence as a child and as a teenager to incredible levels that I did this. Let's move on to the next thing.
Right, exactly, and that was like skateboarding came from roller skating. It was like an amalgamation of surfing and roller skating. Kids would take roller skate wheels and put them on boards so they could practice surfing in the off season. And in terms of like the self-confidence you get from trying and failing countless times and finally doing it, and encouraging your friends to try, or helping your friends, giving them tips, them giving you tips. You develop a real social bond around it. And when you have a place that's visible and free and outdoors, like a skate park, you're just encouraging that instead of like this happening on the streets. Kids get kicked off of spots, the cops give them tickets, and it's kind of like viewed as a vagrant thing, and it's not. It's a really, really healthy activity.
The only reason it's viewed as a vagrant thing is because there's no place else to do it. That's the funny thing about
Exactly.
this. Now let's talk about the park itself. Where do you have ideas where it would be located? By the way, we're speaking with Chris May. He's behind this idea of a skate park in Wassaic. Do you have any idea where this would be?
Yeah, so it's right. The proposed site that we have is right along the rail trail, the new rail trail extension that goes from the Wassaic train station into the town itself. It's right along there, so it'll be located like where the way we envision it. There'll be like benches and trees and stuff like that, so people passing by can stop and watch, or they can take their bikes in there if they want to, or their roller skates, or rollerblades, or skateboards, or scooters, or whatever it may be. But it's really, really open and a beautiful spot.
Is there any idea? Have you? Obviously, you were involved in the building of a skate park a while ago, but any idea about? Have you figured this out? Have you planned it out? Any idea cost and time to build and things like that?
Yeah. So the national average of a skate park is, I think, around $45 per square foot, and you generally want to have a park that's appropriately sized for your community, and so I think like that would be like a 5,000 square foot skate park. But I think we want to do a bigger one, because if you look at upstate New York, there's a skate park in Middletown, New York. That's a concrete skate park. And then there's a few other places that have these kind of prefab ramps that are like metal and wood, and you put them on a slab of concrete, and those just don't last. They get rusty. They get kind of hazardous. They're loud. So the concrete parks are what we're looking at. And to service the larger area, I think what we want is around a 10,000 square foot park, which would put it around $500,000.
Now, is there money available through grants and things like that? I mean, I know you've gone before the town. First of all, how is your proposal handled by the town fathers?
So far, I have received nothing but enthusiasm, which is really, really reassuring. It's going over really well. Sorry, what was the other question?
Now, well, the other question is, now, would you do this through? We're a 501c3
Oh,
here,
right.
and we put our funding together through grants, through donations, and things like that. Yeah, obviously, the town can't come up with a half,
Right.
$500,000 or anything. How do you plan on financing this and putting it together?
So most skate parks like this are funded almost entirely by grants. There's lots of like community development grants and public recreation grants and stuff out there. It just takes a lot of time and research and a lot of grant writing to get that money raised. The town has offered the use of their grant writer, which is excellent, and hopefully I'll be able to get some grants written myself or anyone else who wants to aid in that. But and then the rest is usually private donations and grassroots fundraising, but that's a pretty small slice of the pie. But it's helpful because those type of efforts raise community awareness and community support.
Well, I was going to say,
I've also spoke with the Tony Hawk Foundation, or it's the Skate Park Project now, formerly known as the Tony Hawk Foundation, and they've been helping me plan and strategize and figure out ways to get it done.
we're speaking once again here on Robin Hood Radio with Chris May, who's behind the idea of a skateboard park and a skate park in Wassaic that was put in front of the Amenia Board. And when you look at, I think smart if the town can get involved in whatever way they can get involved, that obviously will go a long way in helping you get grants when you're blessed by the town and the town's in favor of the subject as well.
Right, right. I also just recently received a grant to give skateboarding instruction on the weekends over the next, I think it's 6 to 9 months, for free. So I'm planning on hosting skateboarding days at the basketball courts in Amenia or wherever, and hopefully that'll help generate interest and get people involved in learning how to skate, so that when the skate park gets built, we'll be able to hit the ground rolling, as it were.
Now, do you have a website set up or anything like that where people can go to and get information, or is that something that's being planned?
That's something that's being planned. Right now, we're trying to secure all the grants, and so we're not ready to accept donations yet. We're trying to establish where the money's going to be held, whether or not we're going to find a fiscal sponsor or we're going to start a nonprofit ourselves. But right now, we're in the community awareness phase. We're trying to get everyone aware and involved, or as many people as we can.
And in a perfect world, which I know we don't live in, if you looked at a timeline for this, when would you hope to have something like this completed and open to the public?
Oh boy, I think in the next 2 years is if everything goes the average, I think, is around 2 to 5 years. But I'm really hoping to get that down, because kids want to skate.
Well, what's interesting about this, when we this radio station now is well over 12, 13 years old. When we first came up with the idea, it took me and my partner Jill, it took us almost 2.5 to 3 years to get our grant writing together, because we did form a 501c3 and we did set up things. It took a long time and a lot of hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Not a long time. 2.5 years isn't a long time, but the more people that get involved in positions of raising funds and in contacting other people, the quicker it will go by. And I give you a lot of credit if you'll keep us up to date on this. And when you get a website and when you get more information about accepting donations, let us know. and we'll publicize this because this is one thing we talk about. A lot of needs in our area in the tri-state region, not just in the Dover-Wassaic area, but throughout the tri-state region. We have to attract families. We have to attract young families, and everybody's always talking about internet service, and that's fine and well, and yes, that's needed. But you also need activities for the kids that come in and that move into the area and that are in the area. As you said,
Absolutely.
You need activities for them to do, and also not have to pay for it. So I think it's a great idea, and I think it's a win-win for families and the area in general. And I wish you a lot of luck. And like I said, keep us involved in the situation so we know when you're finally out there fundraising, and we'll help you out.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And if anyone out there is interested in skateboarding or wants to learn to skate, you can find me on Instagram. I have an Instagram called the Wassaic Boarding School. And hopefully soon we'll have some free skateboarding lessons in the area. If you want to test it out, see what it's like.
Well,
and if you are a skateboarder and want to skate more, you can reach out and we can talk and maybe, work together to get the skate park built.
all right, just let us know when you're going to have these free sessions. We'll put it on the radio and also on our Facebook page. And Happy New Year and good luck with this project. It's a long, winding road, but I'm sure with the town's help, you'll get it done, and it'll be a benefit for this area.
I agree. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.